The digital camera patent, U.S. Patent number 641, 652, issued to Stephen Sasson in 1997. Welcome to Patentomatics. In today's video, we will talk about the digital camera patent, U.S. Patent number 641, 652, issued to Stephen Sasson in 1997. So before this video starts, please share, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates. Stephen J. Sasson is an American electrical engineer and the creator of the first self-contained, portable, digital camera. He was born on July 4, 1950, in the United States. Sasson received his Bachelor of Science degree in Electrical Engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in 1972 and his Master of Science degree in 1973. He earned his diploma from Brooklyn Technical High School, where he was a student. Since shortly after he completed his studies in engineering and began his career, he has been employed by Kodak. Sasson's fascination with technology only became stronger during his schooling, which led him to attend Brooklyn Technical High School and then Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, where he received his bachelor's and master's degrees, respectively. As soon as he finished his doctoral studies, he was able to secure a position working in a research laboratory for the Eastman Kodak Company. He was astounded to discover that he had been allowed to work doing exactly what he enjoyed doing, the most, experimenting with electronics. Sasson remarked that the most incredible aspect of his time spent working at Kodak was the fact that he got compensated for doing work that he enjoyed. They had all the pieces right there, and it was a lot easier to do some of this stuff there than it was when I was in Brooklyn, she said. It was a lot easier to do some of this stuff there than it was when I was in Brooklyn. At Kodak, Sasson's supervisor Gareth Lloyd challenged him to devise a functional use for the recently developed charged coupled device, CCD, which is a system that absorbs light and converts it into information that may be used. Sasson noted in an interview with the New York Times that very few people were aware that he was working on such a project because it was not a particularly large endeavor. That was in no way a secret. I guess you could say it was merely a project to keep me from getting into trouble while I was working on something else. It is our pleasure to circle back around to our series titled Evolution of Technology, regularly to provide an in-depth analysis of how well light consumer technology has progressed over time. Because we have been concentrating a lot of attention lately on the patents that have been granted to businesses that are working on producing digital photography products, we decided that we would take a closer look at the evolution of this particular area of technology today. The establishment of the JPEG image standard and the development of liquid crystal displays are both included in the chronological progression of the development of digital photography. It also closely parallels the fall of a major American developer of image products, which was followed by a shift in the photographic business as a whole. First developments in digital imaging technology. Russell A. Kirsch, who is considered to be one of the early fathers of computing, is credited with being the first person to invent a digital image scanner. This is considered to be the first step toward the development of digital photography. In 1957, he developed a rotating drum apparatus and image scanning programming for the standard's Eastern Automatic Computer, which was the world's first computer that could be programmed internally. He did this while working at the National Bureau of Standards with his co-workers. The standard's Eastern Automatic Computer was the world's first internally programmable computer. The very first scan image, which was a photograph of Kirsch's son sized 5 cm by 5 cm, included only 176 pixels along any side. Willard Boyle and George E. Smith, who were both working at Ed&Amp T-Bell Labs at the time, came up with the idea for the charge-coupled device, abbreviated as CCD, a little more than 10 years later in 1969. The photoelectric sensor's data could be gathered by the semiconductor device, and then the charge could be transferred to a second storage capacitor. The analog data from the light-sensitive device was transformed into a digital grid, so that it could be used to construct an image while the data was being transferred. This allowed the data to be used to create an image. It is interesting to note that there are some reports that this invention, which laid the groundwork for digital photography, was conceived in 1 hour. The story goes that Boyle and Smith designed the innovation under the pressure of having the funding for their department cut by at Bell Labs. A charge transfer apparatus that was designed for the storage and serial transfer of charge carriers that contain pixel information was protected by United States Patent Number 3858232, which was issued in December 1974 to Bell Telephone Laboratories Inc. under the title Information Storage Devices. This patent was granted to Bell Telephone Laboratories Inc. Boyle and Smith are both credited for having created this patent. Bell Laboratories was the site of much greater advancement in early digital imaging technology, and it was there that these advancements took place. In April of 1978, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO, granted Bell Labs United States Patent Number 4085456, which was for charge transfer imaging devices. This invention covered a charge transfer area imaging device that was developed for solid-state imaging technologies. This device was more efficient in terms of cost, and it shielded images from smearing aberrations that were caused by other image capture systems. This invention, which was invented by Michael Francis Thompson, was granted a patent 6 years after the application for the patent was initially submitted. This period represents a significant progression toward contemporary digital photography. Developing the concept of the digital camera. Sasson was afforded unrestricted freedom over a full calendar year. His childhood hobby of disassembling electronic devices inspired him to consider the possibility that electrical pulses could be shown in a two-dimensional pattern, analogous to the operation of a television. He speculated that the same idea could be utilized in the development of a design for an all-electric camera that did not have any moving parts, and he decided to work on developing such a device. Every day, Sasson was afforded the extraordinary opportunity to be a trailblazer in the development of innovative techniques and methods in his industry. Even if each day was jam-packed with new adventures, he still had to deal with a certain amount of unpredictability. Because there was no map of the area, the only route he could take was the one he devised himself. While I was getting ready for the day, I'd take a shower, and I'd think to myself, why did I say I was going to create this stupid camera? Sasson stated. Why did I tell folks that I was going to do this? What was I thinking? Despite this, he did not give up, and his persistence paid off in the end. In December 1975, he produced a device that was the world's first digital camera. It consisted of a lens from a Super 8 movie camera, 16 nickel-cadmium batteries, an analog/digital converter, a CCD imaging area array, an A/D converter, and several dozen digital and analog circuits wired together on half a dozen circuit boards. Even though we now live in a society in which it is difficult to conceive of a time when digital photography did not exist, Kodak was slow to adopt this emerging technology. The fact that the corporation held a lucrative monopoly on the market for film photography in the United States meant that they saw little incentive to challenge the established order. This choice would end up being quite expensive. Notwithstanding this, Sasson maintained his work on the development of digital camera technology, and, in 1989, he and a colleague named Robert Hills built the first self-contained DSLR, digital single-lens reflex, camera. Nonetheless, to safeguard their film revenues, Kodak decided against selling the product. The digital single-lens reflex camera, DSLR, would eventually come to dominate the market for digital cameras. This type of camera offered customers the advantage of shooting digitally, as well as quality that finally surpassed that of film. Kodak's digital camera patent portfolio brought in billions of dollars for the corporation, but the company was hesitant to adopt digital photography and ultimately filed for bankruptcy in 2012. A tradition of pioneering thought. In recognition of Sasson's contributions to the development of the digital camera, and to the advancement of people's ability to communicate with one another, President Barack Obama bestowed upon him the National Medal of Technology and Innovation in 2012, and the Royal Photographic Society bestowed upon him the esteemed Progress Medal in 2012. Currently, Sasson devotes the majority of his time to spreading awareness about the significance of creativity and motivating students to develop novel approaches to problems that face the globe. He is an official member of the Innovation Force, a band of NIHF inductees turned comic superheroes that urge youth to take risks and pursue their ambitions. His narrative is included throughout all of the NIFE's educational initiatives. The first digital camera was completely self-contained. In 1975, Stephen Sasson of Kodak was the one who came up with the idea for the first self-contained digital camera. It had a resolution of only 100 by 100 and weighed 8 pounds, 3.6 kilograms, 0.01 megapixels. The process of recording the image onto a cassette tape took around 23 seconds to complete. His camera only produced black and white photographs. As he began working on his design project, the future camera that he envisioned in his head did not contain any mechanical moving parts, although his device did have moving parts, such as the tape drive. The arrangement that was claimed to be covered by Sasson's patent allowed the CCD to be read out quickly, in real time, into a temporary buffer of random access memory, and then written to storage at the slower speed of the storage device. Virtually all contemporary digital cameras continue to use this type of arrangement. Although it was not the first camera to capture digital images, it was the first digital camera that could be held in the hand. Some of the earliest instances of digital cameras were devices used for satellite photography, experimental devices created by Michael Francis Thompson and colleagues, and a commercial product and hobbyist camera known as the Krememco Cyclops. How did you like the video? Do you like it? Leave your valuable comments in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel Patentomatics on YouTube.